The new iPhone 6 has just been revealed today by Apple and reportedly bringing low light and focus improvements. So let's take a look at this new phone. Today, Apple took the wraps off its much anticipated new iPhones, debuting the iPhone 6 and larger iPhone 6 Plus. The Cupertino company looks to maintain its edge in the high-end smartphone market with the launch of what CEO Tim Cook not surprisingly calls, without a doubt, the best iPhones we've ever done. Featuring curved edges and a new generation of Retina high-definition displays, both the 4.7-inch and 5.5-inch screen models are thinner than the previous iPhone 5S's. All of this so far sounds really good. I guess I'm a little behind in technology. I still have my flip phone. So let's continue looking into the iPhone 6 here. First, be aware that the iPhone 5C and 5S models will remain on sale. The lower end 5C is now actually free with a 2-year contract, while the 5S is discounted at a $100 starting price. With the iPhone 6 models, Apple is introducing a new version of their camera sensor. It's still an 8 megapixel back-sided illuminated chip, so the resolution of 3264 by 2448 is unchanged over the previous iPhone. But the new camera sensor brings phase detection autofocus to the iPhone, a technology typically seen in DSLR cameras. By employing what Apple calls focus pixels, the camera uses on-sensor pixels dedicated solely to determining focus distance, eliminated the in and out wobbling you see with the lens with a hunt through its entire range before locking focus. And I believe what they're talking about there is rolling shutter. So somehow I suppose they've eliminated rolling shutter and put some sort of global shutter in these iPhone cameras, but I'm not sure about that. According to Apple, the iPhone 6 models can focus twice as fast as their predecessors. So this new iPhone 6 has an A8 processor, which is a pretty big deal, and it allows up to 25% faster processing speeds for what Apple touts as better noise reduction and more advanced local tone mapping, which translates into better exposed images. The iPhone 6 Plus offers optical image stabilization. Now this is a very good feature, and it's a feature that counteracts camera shake when shooting at long exposures. The lower priced iPhone 6 remains stuck with digital image stabilization, which is not nearly as effective. Both of these iPhone models let you do panoramas and also offer blink and smile detection in burst mode, allowing the camera to recommend the most appropriate shot from the series. There's something else interesting that Apple has added into this iPhone 6 when it comes to shooting video. Now, on the front video, you can now capture 1080p video at 60 frames per second versus what would normally be 30 frames per second. And slow motion video has gotten an upgrade with a maximum of 240 frames per second versus 120 frames per second speed. And with both phones shipping with iOS 8, you can record time-lapse video as well. For selfie lovers, the front-facing camera gets a new sensor as well, one that lets you capture still images with greater dynamic range and offers faster continuous autofocus in video mode. Now, if you're not familiar with what dynamic range is, it basically makes your photos, the blacks blacker, the whites whiter, so it makes your images much better. The two standout features that I have mentioned here, which is phase detection, autofocus, and optical image stabilization, has been seen on other smartphones such as Samsung and Nokia respectively. For mobile photographers who are waiting to upgrade an iPhone 4S or earlier, the bigger news may be that you can get a 5S for $100 or slightly less capable 5C for free. And again, that is with the contract. So now let's talk about battery life. Supposedly there is improved battery life on the new iPhone 6. So I'd argue that the biggest need for iPhone photographers is significantly better battery life. Aside from watching movies, shooting with your iPhone camera is one of the biggest battery killers. So Apple is touting noticeably better battery performance for the iPhone 6 Plus with big gains for audio and video usage. If those claims translate to real-world shooting times, that may be all some users need to upgrade. Optical image stabilization and faster autofocus are certainly welcome improvements, however. A lot will be determined, however, on just how effective these features turn out to be on actual usage. Low light shooting has always been a trouble spot for smartphones, as their tiny sensors simply can't capture light as efficiently as larger sensors can. In other words, you get a lot of noise and grain in your photos when shooting in low light situations. The solution to that has always been to use higher ISO settings to enable hand-holdable shutter speeds. But in doing that, you pay a huge penalty in image noise. So the higher ISO settings you set on your phone or your camera, basically in lower light situations, basically more noise and grain you'll get in your image. So if Apple's optical image stabilization system can let you shoot at ISO settings that are 3 or more stops lower than normal while still delivering sharp photos, the iPhone 6 will be a must-have for those who shoot at indoor events and concerts. Phase detect autofocus again could be a significant feature if it delivers noticeably faster focus in a wide range of scenes. It can be said that Apple's previous iPhones are slow to focus in the first place, especially not in decent light and with such a wide depth of field. Misfocused shots tend to be a rarity on smartphones anyway. And finally, how much will these iPhones cost? So let's talk about a 2-year contract. On a 2-year contract, the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus will be available in the US on September the 19th at a starting price of $200 and $300 respectively.